And this is the story you will tell to the recruiter also, right? How did you complete this project? You will already know most of the things you need to know as a data engineer just by completing all of those different projects. Now, to go from 50% to let's say 70%, one of the biggest problem you will face when you start your career in data engineering is showcasing your experience, because companies generally don't prefer freshers. So in order to get a job, you need experience, and to get an experience, you also need a job. So it's kind of like the chicken and egg problem. And in this video, I want to give you the complete guide on how you can build your own unique project so that you can add it in your resume and also build a data engineering skill set on top of it. So by the end of this video, you will learn some of the most important skill set you need to know as a data engineer and apply in the project, such as building a data model, how to upload your data onto the relational database, how to build a data pipeline, work on some of the important tech stack that you want to learn, and build the final project. So if you have the good projects in your portfolio or in your resume, then it is very easy for you to get an interview call. So this is the problem that I want to address, because a lot of people around the world learn few data engineering skills such as Python, SQL, data warehouse, and all of the other things, but they are not able to receive interview calls. And reason for that is not having the quality of the project or the project that can showcases your actual experience. So this is the problem that we will be solving in this video. So I will highly encourage you to watch this video from start to end, and I will give you the step-by-step guidance on how you can build your first unique data engineering project to kickstart your career and build your data portfolio. So get a pen and paper and start taking notes and write down all of the different things that you understand in your own language. And before moving forward, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. This keeps me motivated to create more and more content like this. So let's get started. So this is the problem that we were talking about, right? I need a job, but I cannot hire you without the experience. To get the experience, I need a job. Then you have to work. What is the work? Is building your own project by yourself. But you'll ask, okay, give me the job. They'll say, get an experience. Okay, so in order to get the experience, you need to learn skill set by yourself and build a project that can showcases that you have applied all of these things by yourself to learn all of these different things. Okay, so this is the problem that we will be tackling. So this is the problem, right? This is you, okay, over here, and this is the company that you want to work for. And in order to go from here to here, you need to take a lot of different steps in between to complete. Now these steps can include preparing for the interviews, coding rounds, and all of the other things. But one of the problems that I want to tackle in this video is having you the ability to showcase something in your resume, so at least when you apply for the job, you get the interview call. So this is the first problem that we want to solve, and then we will talk about other problems such as passing the coding rounds in some other videos. But one problem that we want to solve is showcase your experience. Okay, this is the main problem that we want to tackle in this video. So we will start with that mindset. Now, so building awesome data engineering project for you. Now, first of all, it is really important that you have the clear mindset when you start your journey of building your own unique project, because most of the people think that it takes around 2 to 3 hours to build a good project, because most of the videos that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel is around like 1 to 2 hours of the length. But let me tell you, it takes around 2 to 3 weeks of effort from research, understanding, learning new things, and putting all of these together in just 1 hour or 2 hours of the video. So have the clear mindset that when you decide to build your own project, it is gonna take time. It is not something that you will complete within a day. It is going to be hard. It will take a lot of effort. You will have to do a lot of research. You will have to learn few things from scratch. You will have to watch a lot of different videos, because you are trying to build this project from scratch. You will have to do a lot of different things by yourself. So have the clear mindset that this is not going to be like 1 to 2 days of the work. It will take roughly 2 to 3 weeks, your daily consistent effort to build your final project. So this is the mindset that I want you to start with. That okay, after completing this video, when you decide to start with the project, have the mindset that it will take 2 to 3 weeks of effort to complete the project, or even more than that depending on your knowledge and the skill set. Start with a clear mindset and it will be much more easier for you to build your final project. Okay, so once you have the clear mindset and the deadline, let's say 2 to 3 weeks of the deadline that you have set for yourself, then we can start thinking about how to build a project. Now, one of the easiest project in data engineering is to build ETL pipeline. Okay, you can call it as a data pipeline. That basically stands for extract, okay, transform, transform and load. This is one of the most easiest project that you can build as a data engineer, and this is one of the highly demanded project because most of the data engineering projects around the world is this only. You have the data stored somewhere in different locations, you do some transformation and then load your data. The tools might be different, the technologies might be different, and we will talk about the technologies further down the video, but you need to understand that the fundamentals of the core data engineering project is this only, which is extract, transform and load. So I will be giving you the fundamental idea behind this project and give you some recommendation of the tools that you can build. So if you have some of the tools that you want to learn by yourself, such as Databricks or Apache Spark, or if you want to learn Airflow, you can integrate all of these tools at the different location and build your own unique project in your own way. Okay, so this is what the ETL stands for, right? Extract. So we have data coming from multiple sources. We have, let's say, database system, we might have the APIs, we might have some web analytics, okay, websites. There are many different sources where the data actually comes from. We also have the stock market data or data coming from the sensors. So all of these are the sources of the data that we can extract. We will talk about all of these different sources as we go further down the video. Then we have the transformation block. Inside this we write the actual logic, and you can write your transformation in, let's say, Python code. You can also use SQL, you can also use such as Airflow if you want to create the pipeline. You can use Spark, you can use any enterprise level tools such as Alteryx, Informatica. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. And then at the end we have the loading phase. Generally includes data warehouse. Okay, so you have Snowflake. Okay, you have the Snowflake data warehouse, you have the BigQuery, Apache Hive, you have the Amazon Redshift, Synapse Analytics of the Microsoft. So all of these are the different data warehouse tools. So we will be picking one individual tool that you want to learn and build your final unique project. So, and I will give you the complete guide, so don't worry about it. But this is the general idea of the project that we want to build for our resume. So this is the more detailed version of the architecture diagram that we have over here. Okay, so one is we have our data stored onto some location. Now it can be APIs or data set that is stored on your local computer or RDBMS. So we will be starting our project with that. Then we have something called as building a data model. So what is data model? Data model is basically the visual representation of your data. So let's take the example of the e-commerce website, right? On the e-commerce platform you might have a lot of different things, such as you might have orders, okay, then we have the shipping, then we might have the returns. So a lot of different things, and we will have like multiple tables around it. So data model, what it does, you have like different tables. Okay, it shows you the picture of how these different tables are connected together based on the different column or the primary key or the foreign key. This is what the data model really looks like, and this is the first step that you will be doing in your project, is find a good data set. We will talk about individual step in detail, but right now I just want to give you the complete overview of the what project really looks like. Okay, then we will load our data onto some kind of relational database that you want to like. It can be MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle DB, whatever you want to use, you can use that and load your data. So this step is basically we are trying to create the environment similar to the real world. Okay, in the real world you won't have to load your data manually on relational database, but you will generally have your data loaded onto relational database. Once you have your data onto relational database, then the actual data engineering project starts. So which is basically unloading your data from the database system or the APIs to some kind of storage location. Okay, then if you are loading your data onto this a data warehouse, okay, then you have to build something called as a dimensional model, which is kind of like the proper way of storing your data onto data warehouse for analytics. Then you write your ETL job. You can use your ETL job using Python, Airflow, Spark, or whatever you want. We will talk about all of these different things. Then you load your data onto data warehouse, and then you can visualize your data at the end. So this is the complete overview of the project, what it looks like. Now we will talk about the individual things as we move in this video, and I will try to make you understand how to go about it. Now the first step here is that getting the data set. Now understand this, the goal of every data engineering project or any data project in the world is to help businesses to solve their problem and take the data driven decision. So we don't want to start our project for data engineering. We will start with the mindset of the problem we are trying to solve it for the business. So it can be any business such as Uber, Amazon. If you understand COVID data, you can also start with that. So first you want to pick a problem that you really like solving. So on my YouTube channel, I have like a lot of different examples such as Uber data analytics, I have stock market data analytics, I also have Twitter data pipeline API, and Olympic data analysis. So first thing is you need to figure out the way what you really like, or what is the problem that you want to really work on. Now to give you the example, okay, there are many different examples available, such as we have like Amazon data. Okay, you can have that Amazon, then we have the Spotify, then we have, let's say if you like football, okay, you can also find the football data. Then we have the cricket, online cab sharing platforms such as Uber, Ola, Lyft. Okay, you can also start with that. We also have the weather data, so you can also pick a weather API. After that, we also have the crypto data, then Apple health data. Okay, if you have the Apple products, you can also connect with your own APIs and get the data. You can also get the real-time data if you have the Apple Watch or any of the watch, if they provide all of these data. So data is available, right? You don't have to worry about getting the data. First is you need to understand what is the problem that you want to solve it. It can be anything. So I have given you a few examples, but you can go onto different website to find the right data set as per your need. So if you have the problem, then you can find the data set, and if you don't have the problem that you want to solve, then there are many amazing websites available such as Amazon Open Data, Google Data Search, Kaggle, or you can just search it on the Google and you will find a lot of different data sets available. These data sets might be in the gigabytes or terabytes. Okay, so you can load this data in your system or in your cloud system and get started. So this is the first step that we want to talk, is find a good data set for your project. So once you find a good data set, you can download that data in your local computer. Okay, once you download that, then the step is to build a data model. Now data model, if you don't know, I already have the tutorial available on my YouTube channel, and I also teach all of these skills in my courses also. So I have the course on Python for data engineering and SQL for data engineering. So if you want to learn all of these things in depth, then you can start with that. So what you will do, you will get the data from these different websites and then build your own data model. This is basically, you want to understand what type of data that you are dealing with, how many different files are there, how they are connected together. So this will give you the clear picture of different columns, what is their data types, how they are connected, by building a data model. So these are the first two steps that you want to take. Do not worry about how you will reach onto these different steps. All you need to focus on the current task that you are trying to perform. Okay, so if you are trying to find a data set, just spend time on finding the data set. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't want to worry about the ETL or dashboarding part. Just worry about the finding the right data set. Once you find the right data set, then apply all of your energy onto building a data model. Learn as much as you can about building a data model. You can read blogs online, you can watch videos. If you have taken my courses, then you can watch those videos. I also have few videos available on my YouTube channel for free, so you can go everywhere on the internet and learn about how to build a data model. Okay, you have to spend some time on acquiring the skill set while you're doing it. So this will give you both. You will learn something and you will directly apply it in your own project. So this is how you build a data model. Once you do that, okay, you have to load this data onto relational database. So this is what the entire architecture looks like. If you want to do it in your own way, okay, this is more of the descriptive version of the architecture, but this is what the real world version will look like. Okay, you have the data set on some APIs or some storage location, then you create the data model. Okay, after that you need to choose the relational database that you want to learn. PostgreSQL, MySQL, all of these are free, so open source version, so you can pick anything and learn how you can load your data onto this relational database. Now again, I already have the architecture, the actual cloud architecture, so I will walk you through that. But you can also do this in your local PC, so you don't have to worry about it. Or if you want to do this on your cloud platform, you can do that. So up to you. If you don't have like the high-end PC, what I mean is by that, like if you have like 8 GB RAM and like 100 250 GB of the SSD, then you can perform this project on your local PC also. But if you don't have that, and if your PC is quite slow, then you can go onto the cloud platforms and do the similar project. So I will give you the both way of the architecture so that you will have the clear understanding. Okay, so pick a tool that you want to learn. Okay, it can be anything. You might want to learn Postgres, you might want to learn Oracle. Okay, if you don't know what to pick, I'll say go with the Postgres. It's open source, free, and like a lot of companies uses Postgres, so you can start with that. So get the data, create the data model, and load the data onto this relational database. I teach this in my course also, but you can find hundreds of resources on this, on how you can load your data onto the database. Okay, all you will have to do is write some SQL script to create tables as per your data model, and just write the insert query using programming language, or you can just upload the data manually onto the database. So this will be your first 3 steps where we prepare the environment for the data engineering projects. After that, we will start the actual data engineering project, which is the extract, transform, load. Okay, we will be extracting data from the relational database. Okay, we will store it somewhere, we will write the transformation job, and then we will load that data onto some target location. This is what we are targeting right now. So in real world data engineering projects, we will have data coming from the multiple sources that we already understood, right? APIs, sensors, web servers, and all of the other things. But in this case, we don't have like multiple sources, we only have the one source. So we will be extracting our data from that single source. And the way to do that is that you can write a simple Python script, okay, to read the data and load your data onto some kind of storage location. This can be extracting your data from relational database to your local PC, or if you are using the cloud, then you can also use the object storage. Cloud part we will understand for like AWS, GCP, and Azure, like all of the different things. So don't worry about it, we will come to the cloud part. But for now, just understand what we're trying to do. Over here, first we load our data, okay, then we unload the data. Why we are doing that is to learn how all of these things are performed. Okay, you can directly load your data onto data warehouse and build a dashboard, but you will not learn how to do all of these things. And in real world, you have to know how to perform all of these different actions. So that is the reason we are creating the environment, and this is the story you will tell to the recruiter also, right? How did you complete this project? I found a data set, I built the data model, I loaded the data onto the relational database just to create the environment of the real world. Then I unloaded this data onto the storage location. Then you build the dimension model. Now data model is generally used for the relational databases, okay, when you want to just store your data onto the PostgreSQL or MySQL. But on the data warehouse side, when you want to analyze your data, such as if you want to ask question of what was the revenue of last 5 years compared to the this year or something like that, you build a dimension model. Dimension model is basically look something like this. Okay, we will have one dimension table. Okay, we will have the fact table, and then we will have multiple dimension tables attached to it. This can be called as a star schema. So it is much more easier for you to make a join between 2 tables and analyze the data, because in the relational database you might have data stored like this. Okay, this is my data model. You will have your data stored across like hundreds of different tables. In dimensional model, you try to bring that 100 different tables to 10 tables, so that you load your data into one of the common tables, and then it becomes much more easier to query all of these data. In this case, what we will do, we have our data model ready. Okay, we'll unload this data, and then you build the dimension model. When I talk about creating the data model or dimension model, it's basically the visual representation that you want to build. That there are different websites available, such as star.io or Lucidchart, that you can use to build all of these things. So this is not something that you do inside this architecture. This is something like the visual representation or the documentation side that you have to do while building this project for your clear understanding. Okay, so these 2 steps are basically creating the dimension model and the data model. Okay, you will have to do it aside from the project for to build a better documentation. Once you have this, then we write the ETL job, extract, transform, load. So what this really means is that we already extracted the data. Now I want to convert this data model format to the dimension model. So let's say if I have the 10 files in my data set, then I want to convert that 10 files into, let's say, 4 files. Okay, 4 files basically means I have the 10 tables. I want to convert that data model of the 10 tables into 5 tables of the dimension model. So this is that step, like converting this into the dimension format, and you do this by writing a code. You can write your code in Spark, you can write your code in Python, you can use any enterprise level tool, whatever you want to use, you can use that. So this is what we were talking about over here. You use your Python, you can use Databricks, Airflow, GCP Dataproc, AWS Glue, whatever you want to learn. Okay, whatever you want to learn, you think this is something that you want to explore, such as, let's say if you want to explore Databricks, you can use that. Let's say if you want to learn Airflow, you can use that. Let's say if you want to learn AWS Glue, you can use that. Or let's say just if you just want to use the simple Python script, you can do that. So this is the opportunity that you will use. Okay, you have your data over here. If you are going with the cloud, we will talk about all of these different storages. So you can use S3 cloud storage, Azure blob storage, or even your local PC. You can also add over here just local PC. Okay, I also have this. You can also store it in your local PC, it doesn't matter. Now all of these different things such as Python thing or Airflow or Databricks, you can install it in your local PC also. Like the Spark environment, you can install it in your local PC. So let me just add the Spark over here. Okay, you can also do the Spark, or you can use any enterprise level tool. You start with that. Okay, you write your actual logic in the Spark, and then you load your data onto some kind of data warehouse. Now again, all of these things are free for use for the trial purposes. If you create your account for the first time, you will get the free access. So you can use Snowflake if you want to learn how to use Snowflake. If you want to learn how to use Redshift, BigQuery, or Synapse Analytics, up to you. You can do that. So this is how you can build your entire project. Now the question is where to learn all of this. Again, go back to the previous step, right? This is the descriptive diagram. You don't have to worry about all of these different things right now. Go step by step and start executing your project. So first you find the data set, then you will spend time on building a data model. This might take, let's say, 2 days. Okay, loading the data onto relational database, it will take time for you to figure out how to load the data onto the relational database. You will face a lot of errors, but you can use Google, you can ask ChatGPT and take a lot of different helps from online communities while building this project. So you will get a lot of help when you try to build this project. Then again, the next step is to, I already have my data available onto relational database. How do I unload this data? Which is by writing the SQL query and extracting the data and storing it. Once I'm done with this, how do I build the data model? You search about it. What is data model? How to build a data model from data model, and you will understand the star schema, Snowflake schema, and how to choose the proper dimension column, how to choose the proper dimension column, and how to choose the fact columns. Again, all of these things I teach in my courses. So I have like 3 courses available right now. So if you want to do this part, if you have done my courses, then you already know all of those different things, so you can do that by yourself. I have the plans to upload more courses in the future, so I will go step by step. But again, you can learn all of these things free online. Okay, you just have to search on Google, on YouTube, or just ask ChatGPT or any AI chatbot, and that get you the clear answer. So start with that. Once you build a dimension model, then choose a tool that you want to learn. Okay, so learn how to install Apache Spark in your local PC, or how to install Apache Airflow in your local PC. Learn about that, install it, and then learn about the Airflow, how to write a basic transformation script in Airflow, how to read the data, how to load the data onto data warehouse. So it's like the step-by-step execution, and this is what I do when I create my own projects, right? I go step by step. I don't try to worry about what I will do at the end. I execute all of these things step by step and then build the final project. So this is kind of like the one blueprint or one version of your project that you will build. You can improve, obviously you can improve all of this project as you go forward and build like one top level data engineering projects that you can add it in your resume. So this was all about like choosing tools as per your requirement. But if I were to give you the clear architecture on the cloud platform, this is what it looks like. Let's say if you want to learn AWS and how to perform data engineering on AWS cloud, then this is what the architecture will look like. Okay, you will get your data. Okay, we have some service called as a RDS, relational database service, where you can spin up the PostgreSQL or MySQL instance. You just connect to it, load your data. Now again, you will have to learn about how to create the instance on AWS RDS, how to connect to it, how to load your data, and do all of this query transaction. So this is the learning process. You will have to read the documentation, watch videos, do your own research. in this process you will learn something new and also have one project ready for your portfolio. This is one of the best way you can learn any new skill. This is hard, but this is one of the best way you can learn. Okay, that is the reason at the start of the video I told you this is not something that you can complete within a day. It will take 2 to 3 weeks of effort. And if you can find a person, I will give you the community link at the end of this video where you can find the like-minded people if you want to build your own project. Okay, so load your data onto RDS, extract the data from RDS to S3. For this, you can use simple Python script and unload your data. Then we have something called as AWS Glue, where you can write your transformation script in Apache Spark or Python. So you can do that. Load your data onto Redshift, which is the data warehouse tool, and we have the quick site if you want to visualize your data. Similar architecture I have provided for, let's say, Azure. So same is, we have the Azure database where you can find the MySQL, PostgreSQL. You unload your data, which is a blob storage similar to S3. Databricks, somewhat similar to Glue, where you can write the Spark job. Synapse Analytics is same as Redshift data warehouse tool, and we have the Power BI visualization. Same for the GCP, right? Cloud SQL, storage, Dataproc, BigQuery, and the Google Data Studio. So all of these architecture are similar in nature. You can improve this architecture as per your needs. So let's say if you don't want to use AWS Glue, you can deploy the Apache Airflow on EC2 instance and build your project. It's up to you. How you want to modify this project, it is completely up to you. Now the question might be, how do I learn all of these things? How do I know how to connect to Redshift and all of the other things? I already have the videos on different topics and the project. So if you are completely new, okay, if you have no idea about data engineering projects, then you can start by watching my existing data engineering guided projects, where it will teach you everything you need to know. So I have around like 8 to 10 different projects available on data engineering. If you watch those videos, you will be ahead of like 50% of the people in this industry, right? You will already know most of the things you need to know as a data engineer just by completing all of those different projects. Now to go from 50% to let's say 70%, you need to do your own project. So doing this own project, your own way of executing this project will get you there. Then there are other things such as real-time data streaming and all of the other things that you can learn in the future. But this is the getting started part, and this is what I wanted to cover in this particular video. So I've started my own data learning platform called the Data Vidya, and in that we have the community link where you can interact with the like-minded people and get to know them. So if you want to do this project, I will highly recommend you to partner up with some other people around the community. And if you want to know how you can find those people, I already have the community link put in the description. This is the Data Vidya community. You will find a lot of like-minded people who want to learn about data engineering. So you can just post your query that I'm looking for the people to complete this project. People will reply you if they are interested, and you can work with other people to build this project. This is the best way you can do that, because if you try to do this alone, if you get stuck, then you might lose the motivation or something else. If you have someone with you who is working on the project, then it will be much more easier for you, and it will be fun activity to get to know some other people and learn from them. So this is what I had for this complete video. I will put all of the different projects that I have, the community link, and all of the different resources that you can use to complete this project. So if you start this project, then do tag me on LinkedIn or Twitter about announce everyone, learn in public each and every day, whatever you do. Okay, share it with the people. Okay, if you learn, let's say, about data modeling, or if you learn about how to install Spark in your PC or the cloud platform, share each and everything on the social media channels such as LinkedIn or Twitter. Tag me over there so that around people in the community will get to know you, that you are working on these things. And if you face any issues, you can always ask the question. This way you will build your own network and learn from the people around the world. So I'm very excited what you bring at the end of this project, and I wish you all the best. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.